Good morning, everybody. No, I am not Jeff Gargas. No, she is not Ray Hewart. But this is the Daily Drop-In. This morning, I get to hang out with the amazing Katie Miglin because the rest of the team, I don't know, they're sleeping, they're on vacation. Who knows what they're doing? I'm taking full advantage of this opportunity to hang out with my friend, Katie Miglin. This week, the conversation is all about relationships. How to build and grow those relationships with staff, with students, with parents, all the people. And today I'm going to take full advantage of this conversation about relationships to hang out with Katie. So Katie, are you okay if we just jump in and have some fun in a second?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. See you in 27 seconds. So Katie, you and I get to take over Daily Drop-In and do whatever we want today. How exciting is that?
I'm so excited. Although
all the people around the world that are tuning in and thinking, oh, it's Monday, so that means it's a Jeff and Ray day. Welcome to reality, people. No. The new Monday is the Dave and Katie day. I can't even pronounce my own name. It's so early. The Dave and Katie day.
Yes. I wonder if we're gonna after today, if they're gonna be like, no, we can't start our week with them again, and then we're gonna get kicked out, or is it gonna be that was awesome? It needs to happen every Monday.
I was joking with you and I said, I'm not really sure how to go live. Normally when I go live, I've got a beer in my hand and some games and some gimmicks. So maybe this will be like a Monday brain break, bright and early. I don't know how a beer is going to taste this early.
I was going to say, I feel like it's a little early for a beverage. I mean, cheers. We have our coffee. Do you have your coffee, Dave?
All the coffee.
Yes. This is round one.
Well, okay. Well, if you need to get up and go do round two, I can fill some time with however we need to, or just snap your fingers. You've got little humans that can get you something, right?
Oh, I don't know that I want to see what they would bring me, but yes, they could technically bring me something.
That's hilarious. So Katie, we're joking about how early it is, and before we went live, we were joking about how early it is every day. I mean, honestly, this time of day actually exists every day for those people that aren't aware. If you've been sleeping in all summer long, but this time of day actually does exist. Mm-hmm. Ray's been going live with people like this now for is this the third week of this already?
Think so, yeah.
Wow, which is crazy. It is. But daily drop-ins take place every single day, Monday through Friday at this time of day. But Katie, today is a special day for you. Not only do you get to hang out with me, what else is happening for you today?
Today is my first day of school. I go back today.
Do you have first day jitters?
Well, today is Institute Day. So I did notice last night I did not sleep as well as I have for the last few months. But I feel like, today is like getting my feet wet, getting to see other humans again out of my house, kind of getting back into routine. But those jitters, I'm sure, are going to start here in the next day or so. We actually get students on Wednesday. So that's the official first day.
Gotcha. Okay. So for people that aren't in Illinois and don't understand what Institute Day is, because that's an Illinois and I think an Ohio really term. It is. Yeah. Oh. It's basically PD day. So
it's
your
first days.
Your first day back and you're doing PD. And I know that's something that teachers desperately crave when they come back. They don't want to spend time in their classroom. They don't want to be getting ready. They want those Institute days. Do you know what's on the agenda today for your Institute Day?
Yeah, I do. So today is more of our district based. And so it's more kind of district wide meetings. And so we're doing some equity in our classrooms training. We've got some different, the specific programs that we do in our curriculums. We've got some trainings for that. And then some of it is just kind of like back to school stuff. Like, hey, welcome back. Here's some updates, some COVID updates and things like that. So, and then I'm excited because my team gets together and we're going to plan our writing class that we all get to teach this year. So
sweet. Okay. Well, Katie, I don't know if misery loves company or not, or maybe this is joy loves company, but there are other people starting today too.
Yeah.
Beth Ann's saying that she's headed back to school today as well. So,
Woohoo.
yay, there are other people joining in. Got
Mhm.
lots of people up early this morning joining us. Brianna Shaner's joining us this morning. Nikki Jacoby saying hey. The one and only Schnexer is hanging out with us this morning.
Morning, Becky.
And now this one I don't understand. Why is Jeff Gargis hanging out with us this morning? Because I thought he was using some sort of excuse not to be here. But what? I don't care. I'll take over. We'll keep doing this.
Exactly.
Debbie Tannenbaum is hanging out with us this morning too. So a lot of morning people are hanging out because you mentioned to me, Katie, you're a middle school teacher.
Yep.
A couple of, as you call them, little humans that live in your house with you. All summer long, though, you were up at this time of day.
Yeah.
All summer long. Why, Katie Miglin? Why?
I'm a little bit crazy, but I really struggle with transitions in routine, like I personally do. So it started kind of during the pandemic when we were all shut down. I was like, if I start sleeping in now, there's no turning back. So I set my alarm the same time every day, and whether or not I get out of bed is up to me. But most days I'm up around 5:30, and I kind of enjoy the quiet. I enjoy a cup of coffee. I'll, just do a few things and start my day whenever I feel like it. But I try to like consistently get up at the same time. Now, this is the first time, other than last week when I did the daily drop, and this is the first day I've been like up and like talking, looking decent, like usually this is still pajama time. So
okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so now what time do you have to be in your building today?
Our first meeting starts at 8.
At
Breakfast
8 o'clock.
Breakfast starts at 7:45.
So hold on now. What was that?
Yes.
Breakfast?
Yes.
You get breakfast at Institute Day?
Yes. Our principal likes to spoil us. Or put us in a good mood. I'm not sure. So yes, we have
That's
breakfast.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. I'm super pumped.
And no, that's pretty impressive because our theme this week, every week, Ray Hewitt, who produces, directs, and normally stars in the Daily Drop-In, has developed themes. And this week's theme again is relationships. And it sounds to me like your administrator, your principal, is working really hard, like you said, to bring people in happy, knowing that Institute Day is probably not the thing that gets people fired up and jazzed to say, let's go back to school, but breakfast. Now, you feed some people some breakfast and they'll show up with a smile on their face. You know what's on the menu? Does it matter what's on the menu?
Well, sometimes, depends. Today is Panera.
All right.
So bagel. Yeah.
So we're not talking cafeteria fruit cups here. That is nice.
No, yes, he does a good job. I will say our principal is fantastic at building relationships. All day today, there will be giveaways and just things to kind of get our energy high. I mean, yes, going back and having like meetings the first day doesn't typically fill someone's cup, but without a doubt, our like Institute days are for sure. They do fill my cup. They get us excited. He brings a lot of energy, good music, and makes it as fun as possible, when you're talking about some heavier topics. So, but yeah, starting with bagels, and I'm sure there will be coffee. Let's do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want you to hold on to that, though, because I want to transition that into the kids' first day in a couple of days. But first, I want to say good morning to a couple more people that just
We
got Marie, who's joining us. And if you didn't see this, she's got an amazing new book out right now. It's written in Braille as well. Phenomenal. But check that out if you haven't seen it, people. And we've got a couple of Facebook users that are joining us, at least one Facebook user who's saying that they are a morning person too. And somebody else that just wants to say good morning to you. So that's pretty cool. So I consider myself a morning person as well. But again, we were talking about this, like we were just hanging out talking for a long time before we went live, but we were talking about there's a difference between being a morning person where you can sip coffee at your own leisure, do your own thing, and being a morning person because you have to wake up because other people are telling you what to do. For some reason, when you wake up because other people are coming in to say, do this, it's a different world. But it's okay. We'll make it through today. So again, your Institute Day is today. You're going to go in, policies, procedures, learning a little bit more about equity and doing some trainings, but you're getting breakfast. Let's fast forward, is it 48 hours from now? The
Mhm.
kids show up on that first day, right?
Yep.
In a lot of schools, I wonder how many kids feel like that first day of school for them is an institute day, where they're showing up and it's just a bunch of people telling them rules, policies, procedures all day,
I'm
every
sure.
day.
Yep.
But you're thinking right now about some things that your principal is doing to actually get you jazzed up. You mentioned music and giveaways and food and things like that. I'm wondering how many teachers out there have plans on how to jazz up their first day if they haven't been there yet, or if they've already had their first day. What kinds of things do you do to try to build excitement for day two, day
Mhm.
three? I saw a lot of tweets last week here where I'm in Florida. School started for kids last week, and
Mhm.
there were people putting out there, as long as the kids get on the right bus at the end of the day and are fed throughout the morning and want to come back on day two, then we've done our job. Do you have goals for the first day with your kids when they come on Wednesday? What is it that you want them to experience?
Kind of the same. I want them to be excited to come back. I think for years I was so I mean, honestly, I was so bad at it. I was like so task oriented. I was like, okay, we've got to talk about what this class looks like. Don't touch this part of my classroom, but this is on, the on and off spots of my classroom. And I finally was like, I'm so bored. Like I teach it multiple times throughout the day. In middle school, I teach the same content all day. And by the end of it, I was like, oh my gosh, I am so bored with myself. The kids have got to be bored too if they're doing this 8 times. So now I literally just do fun, mathy kind of things. So it's not necessarily, they're not learning anything, but it's like a math game or something just to incorporate my content so that there's a little bit of distinguishing, a little bit of difference between a team building thing.
Yeah.
But my goal is literally just hang out with the kids for a couple of days, get to know them, get to kind of get the energy up in my classroom so that when we actually need to dive into the content, we're ready.
I love that. And I'll tell a quick story because I'm pretty sure my family isn't up this early watching this, but my extended family, when I was growing up, I had an aunt who we would go visit every once in a while.
Mhm.
And when we would go over to her house, like the first half hour was her just telling us all the things that we couldn't touch, things we couldn't do. She would remind us to keep our noise level down. She would put the plastic over the couch to make sure that we didn't get it dirty. She would make sure that our shoes went in the same spot. She understood that, like, she was just rule, 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 rule. And anytime my parents would say, we're going over to visit Aunt blank, I would beg, please don't make us go there.
Yeah.
Please don't make us go there. There are so many other people that we can go see in this world. Why do we need to go there? Because all she does is tell us what we can't do. And,
Mhm.
our theme this week is all about relationships. And I would challenge you, in any relationship that you have with anybody, your goal, the first time you introduce yourself to somebody, the first time you go on a date with somebody, the first whatever, is to lead to a second date or second opportunity, to have people want to engage with you again, not to equate you with a bunch of rules and don't do's and can't do's and things like
Right.
that. So I love your mindset of get the kids in, get them excited to come back on Thursday. And
Mhm.
it's been a win. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
absolutely.
So, are you ready for is it Institute Day 2 tomorrow? What happens on Tuesday in the in between? So you got Institute Day today,
Yep.
something tomorrow, and then kids come Wednesday. What is tomorrow?
Tomorrow is more building based stuff. So if there's specific things that our building is going to be doing, then we get training tomorrow. Our principal's awesome at providing a lot of classroom time, a lot of time to collaborate with other teachers. So I've got a couple personal meetings lined up so I can get some training from different educators in the building just to learn a little bit more. But tomorrow is primarily like kind of our home base, building the relationships within our home, and kind of getting our house established before the kids start coming in. And so yeah, tomorrow is always a lot of fun too because it's less. Today will be a lot more sitting on a Zoom meeting and watching. It'll be like, because our district is still not all together. We're a really big district, so we're still not doing full district meetings, and so it's a lot more sitting on a computer today. And then tomorrow will be more like interacting. So,
But you're in the building getting your
correct.
breakfast, but you're just on the Zoom. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So like
that's cool.
our whole staff will be in the cafeteria watching like our back to school video from our superintendent. So,
Okay, that's
did you just see who dropped in?
I did. All of these people that took the day off are
What
still
the heck?
here. So cool. Now we know the expectation. Just
Right.
mail it in, throw a few comments in there, but good morning, Ray. We do
Good
miss you.
morning, Ray.
Ray, our goal today is to make everybody reach out to you today and say, don't worry about coming back. Dave and Katie got it. So people, feel free, send messages to Ray and Jeff and let them know that Monday should just be the new Dave and Katie day. We got this. Yeah, they can sleep in and they can do their own thing. That's awesome.
That's probably all they're doing now anyway. They're probably just wanted a day off.
You think they were just like rolling over, grab their phone, sent a quick comment just so that people would think they were up doing something and then... Yeah. Okay.
That sounds like them.
That's awesome. All right. So speaking of Ray, she does have a script for us for these daily drop-ins that we're supposed to follow for the sake of consistency. We know that kids, just like adults, we do like consistency. Some people wake up at 5 o'clock every single day just so they can have that routine and that habit. Some people in daily drop-in are sitting around right now saying, all right, it's a quarter after the hour. Is it time for the good news of the day? So I think maybe we should follow the script and jump to that. Are you okay if we switch up and do the good news?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So let's do a quick little good news song commercial and we'll be right back.
Okay.
So I got to tell you that the good news of the day is probably my favorite part of the Daily Drop-In, because I feel like when I turn on the news, it is sometimes hard to find the good news stories. Where I am, we were talking, there's a hurricane headed my way, or a tropical storm now. So hopefully that's going to avoid. And all the news is talking about that. There are earthquakes. There's countries and that are eroding and wars taking place. It's hard for us to sometimes latch onto the good news. And the same thing is true sometimes when we go into schools on our first couple of days. We surround ourselves and everybody just wants to talk about all the bad and all the negativity. And we have to sometimes... Exactly. So being intentional about looking for the good, assuming the good, finding the good, I think is a good habit to get into. So I love the fact that we have this segment fairly early on in Daily Drop-In every day where we can say, hey, here's some good in the world. And I found a couple of stories that I'd like to talk about. You mind if I jump in and share these stories? Okay. So the first one comes from Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
And Denver, Colorado, I don't know if you've ever been there. It's a gorgeous city right on the base of the Rockies. But in Denver, Colorado, their police department has enacted a change in policy. Now in Denver, if you get pulled over for a broken headlight, you're not going to get a ticket. You're not going to get a warning. Instead, you're going to get a gift card to go get your headlight fixed. How cool is that?
I love that. Way to have like a positive spin on something that is kind of minor. You know, like a headlight is kind of minor in the general scheme of what they give tickets for. And so it's awesome that they're like, and it's giving them something positive to do. Because, I mean, police officers probably have a lot of negative in their life. And it's a positive way to like have positive interactions. I love that. That's awesome.
I feel like if I had a broken headlight, I would just go circle the police station and just go around and around and around in my car, waiting for somebody to notice to give me the gift card to say, go get it fixed now. But I think it's a cool mindset that it's not about punishing. It's about restoring. It's about fixing. It's about making right. And what I loved about this story is my mind immediately went to the classroom and to schools and the notion of restorative justice. That it's not about punishment. It's not about kicking kids out. It's about fixing and taking care of whatever was broken. I know when I was a classroom teacher, this was something I struggled with. I mean, sometimes as a dad, this is something I struggle with. As an adult, I guarantee I struggle with this. If we really want to go there, I definitely struggle with this with adult to adult interactions. I want justice, and I want justice swiftly for people that I feel like wronged me. With kids, I sometimes drift towards that mindset as well, that justice in my mind equates to a consequence for breaking, a consequence for disturbing the peace, a consequence for whatever you did wrong. The idea or the notion of somebody does something wrong and you do something right, that Michelle Obama notion, when they go low, you go high. Like, I feel like that's what's at play here. In your classroom, in your school, what does the discipline practice look like? How do you work to build those relationships with some of those little kids that can get underneath our skin? Is that something that you're good at? Is that something you have to work intentionally at?
I have good moments and bad moments.
Okay.
It depends on my own personal capacity. And that is something I truly struggle with is when my capacity is low, I struggle to have tolerance for, others, whether it's a seventh grader in my classroom, whether it's my 6-year-old or whether it's, another adult. But I really try hard to be consistent, which it looks, to a middle schooler, it can look not consistent because
Mm.
what I say to Dave might be different than what I say to Ray, even though outwardly their behaviors are the same. And I think that's a struggle for me. I was always a kid that I would see a teacher's reaction. And so I try to be really intentional of if a kid, drops the F-bomb in my class, I'm going to have to address it because everybody heard it. Now, whether I do something outside of a conversation is up to me, but I'm really intentional about being consistent so that everyone can see that. But my consequence, I guess you could say, it might look different. And I try really hard not to give consequences. And I kind of always laugh, like it's more work for me to like send you to the office or to like call home or give a detention. So if we can take care of this, you and I, let's do that. And I try really hard, honestly. And some days are better than others. I mean, I'm human, and but I do teach middle school, so I feel like I've seen a lot of things, and so I feel like my patience might be higher than other.
No, if you can survive and thrive in middle school, then this is probably your cup of tea because you
Right.
understand how to pick and choose arguments. And
Yes.
the idea that today, for your Institute Day, you're having this conversation about equity, I think
Yeah.
right into this because it is about equity, not necessarily equality.
Exactly.
The idea or the notion that when kids do something wrong, you want to make sure that it's addressed. You want to make sure at times that everybody else sees that this is something that I will address for everybody, but it doesn't mean that how you address it or the consequence, if you will, has to be the same. As long as you
Exactly.
consistently have that expectation, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
One of the things I don't know if you're familiar with Brian Mindler. Brian Mindler, he's a friend of mine, and he does a lot of work on um, discipline, supportive behavior for kids, the unruly kids. He's got a book
Mhm.
called That One Kid. And when we say
Yep.
that one kid, we all know who we're talking about. One of the things that he talks about all the time is the second to last word. So as the adult, in any interaction you have with a kid, focus on having the second to last word. And I
Yep.
think that is so brilliant, just in terms of this restorative justice piece. Oftentimes when I'm in a debate or conversation with one of my own kids at home, I feel like it's my responsibility to get the last word in. I want them to, my words need to be the last thing they hear. Don't respond back to me. Don't mumble under your breath.
Mhm.
But the second to last word piece reminds me that no, they can, as long as they understand what I said, you can say whatever you need to say after I get my 2 cents out. I'm going to restore you to this place where you feel like you have some more power. You still
Mhm.
feel like you have my respect. Mumble under your breath if you need to. I'm going to say the second to last word and
Yep.
walk away. Um, it's a powerful practice, but it is such a difficult practice to model in your classroom.
Oh, absolutely. I know, I haven't heard the second to last word. I like that even better. I've had conversations with people about having the last word, and it's so hard, especially when you're dealing with a 12-year-old who just is under your skin. And it's you've already had a long day and they've already had, done this, this, and this. And it's like sometimes I'm like, I am lowering myself to a 12-year-old right now. Like
Right.
I'm getting in an argument with a 12-year-old about something like it's stupid. It's like this is so dumb. Why am I like I'm the adult? And so I do feel like that's a good reminder to have the second to last word versus the last because it in those moments and yeah, like you said with parenting too, it's sometimes a struggle.
Yeah.
So that's
It's
good.
for me, I oftentimes want to win the moment. And
Yes.
in trying to win the moment, I lose the relationship
Oh
because
yeah.
I'm so focused on you need to respect, and that's a whole nother conversation what that means. Respect me enough to let me have the last word. And that's truly what it is.
Mhm.
It's about trying to win an argument by saying my voice is gonna be the last one in the room. So it's a difficult one, but it's also one I think that really truly does nurture relationships. So
Yeah.
very cool.
Dave, I feel like last year kind of taught me that. It taught like what hill am I willing to die on? And I don't
Mm,
know if it was because, in the big picture of life, kids were dealing with so many different things that were harder than a typical classroom. There was kids in class who, had family members that had passed away or who had, had been evicted and So I think last year kind of like gave me that perspective that I probably needed 13 years ago when I started teaching. But I felt like there were so many things last year that I was like, I'm not going to battle with you because at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. And so I think last year was really like good for me in some ways, as that reflection of, I'm not going to go toe to toe with you because you forgot your pencils, because I have 400 in my drawer. So just take the pencil and, let's get going.
Yeah.
So
good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good stuff. Do you mind if I share yet another good news story? I kind of wanted to set on the good news stories. So we could just share good news stories all day, because otherwise I'll turn into just telling dad jokes all day. So
no, I think let's go to the good news.
Okay, good news stories. So this one is an interesting one, but I think it's super cool as well. So this news story comes from Yale. Are you familiar with Yale?
I think I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's this little university over in New England, but it's the story is all about a study that some professors and a couple of students at Yale recently did, where they discovered, or they believe they've discovered, that mammals, people like us, other hairy animals, I don't know if that's how you describe a mammal or not, but whatever. Mammals can dream about the world even before they're born.
Interesting.
I think that one is so cool. Like, I'm picturing like little kangaroos. I hope they're mammals, but I'm picturing like little joeys dreaming about hopping around Australia, even though they haven't even experienced hopping or Australia yet.
Yes, well, will they dream about the life they're going to live?
I don't know. It says they dream about the world. So is it like hopes and dreams, or like what they want to do?
Right. Are they just imagining things?
I don't know. But I think it's pretty cool that they can do it, because, again, let's take this to the classroom level, right? You hang out with 12-year-olds. 12-year-olds, if we're being real, they don't have a clue about the world. They don't know how the world really works. They think they knew, but they don't have any idea.
Right.
But they have dreams. They have hopes of what they think they're going to do, what they want to do in the quote unquote world.
Yep.
And I think at times as an adult, I feel like it's my job to snap 12-year-olds or even 5-year-olds back to reality, to let them know that that's an interesting dream, but that's not the way the world works, buddy. Right. I wonder if there's power in being able to dream about the unknown world. Otherwise, I mean, why would we be doing it before we're born, right? I mean,
isn't that kind of depressing to think that there aren't dreamers? I mean, the flip side is, if the world didn't have anyone dreaming of anything bigger or better, where would we be? I mean, everything in our life had to be a dream at some point.
You're going deep on this one, Katie.
Coffee's kicking in.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I just think that you have to like really encourage them, because otherwise, where's the hope?
I think you're onto something here too. Again, I'm going to take this back to the first days of school. I'm a believer that fear exists when your dreams don't materialize. When whatever you hoped for, whatever you're longing for, whatever you're thinking is going to happen doesn't manifest, or you have a worry that it won't come to pass.
Okay.
These first couple days coming back, there are quite a few kids that are super excited for Wednesday, kids' first day in your district. There are a lot of kids that I'm sure are probably laying out their first day of school outfits today, that are going to go shopping and sharpening pencils and all those things. But there are some kids that are probably nervous, that are probably scared, that don't have a realistic picture of how amazing Mrs. Miglin is, that don't necessarily have these good dreams. Their dreams might be nightmares, or they might just not have any concept of what to expect or what the world looks like inside of your building. This idea that people don't dream, though. Do you have dreams, Katie?
I mean, doesn't everybody? I don't know that I remember most. I'm a pretty hard sleeper.
Okay.
So
I don't ever dream. At least at night. I dream all day long. Like, I've got hopes and goals and aspirations, but at night I don't think I do dream.
I mean, I know I've had dreams, but like nothing like on a consistent basis.
Okay. Well, do you have daytime dreams, like aspirations, things that you want to to accomplish or do, and Jeff Gargas is spot on. Sitting right here next to Kitty Miglin on a Monday morning is my dream. So he's right about that. Aside from you hanging out with me on a Monday, what other dreams do you have?
It's funny because I feel like dreams, it's like, how obtainable are they? And how, there's always that, like you said, I feel like once you become an adult, it's like there's a little bit of that reality check of, okay, well, yeah, do I dream of living on a beach with a pool in the backyard? Absolutely. But like, how obtainable is that? And, so I think are there like kind of fabricated dreams versus realistic dreams that would impact my day to day and, are obtainable? I think there's a level, but yeah, absolutely. I have, dreams about like what I want my future to look like with my family and what do I want my kids to do. And, I don't know. I just think there's obtainable, and then there's more like pie in the sky.
Yeah. And so Jeff Gargas is bringing up a point here. He says for this adult, meaning him, he's still dreaming all the dreams. I wonder, especially as a middle school teacher, if there's a part of you that feels like your job is to encourage Peter Pan syndrome for kids.
Yeah.
So not rush them into adulthood, but allow them to hold on to childhood as long as they can, where they still are dreaming all the dreams. Even if all the kids all the time just say they want to become YouTube creators, foster that dream, guys. Become the best YouTube creator you can, or NBA star or pop star, or whatever the case may be. Or is it our job to dash the dreams and give them that reality check and say, nope, that's not what the real world looks like?
Well, I think there's a balance. So I always tell my middle schoolers when they say, I want to be this when I grow up, I always tell them, I can very vividly remember in 7th grade telling my dad, I'm going to Illinois State University and I'm going to be a middle school teacher. And in that moment, he was like, yeah, okay. Because my sister had just left for college. I think she had already switched her major at that point, and he was very much just the realist. Like, well, people switch their minds and you've got, however many years until you're at that point. And what did I do? I went to Illinois State University and I became a middle school teacher. And so I tell them, like, you can have those dreams, but, sometimes, especially middle school, we have like the kids who want to be life athletes. And I always tell them, yes, be the athlete, but what is your backup plan when your body gives out or when you get an injury, or what other things can you bring to the world that isn't just reliant on something? Because, how many athletes are 50 and they're still playing basketball or, so I think there's got to be a balance of, yes, you can do your dreams, but then what else can you dream about? What else is out there?
That's good. That's good. Brianna says that she's got a student that she actually nicknamed Peter Pan, and that he might be onto something there. I agree. I think it's a cool concept to say that teachers should be dream encouragers. Like, that should be job number one, is just allow your kids to be kids.
Yes.
And to dream, because from those dreams you can do a whole lot of encouraging, cheerleading, teaching, growing, inspiring. But Katie, Alex does want to remind you that your dream can be a reality. Just saying, it can actually happen. You can live on the beach. I know there are beaches in places where you could actually still do this. So yes, just throw that out there.
I do like to show my husband, your pictures of like, oh, this is where I'm on my run, or this is where I'm having coffee. I'm like, see, I could do this.
I really only throw pictures up on Instagram just for him, just so he's fully aware. And there's always like this passive message for Matt in there that if he can start picking up on those, it's like the Da Vinci Code of Instagram. When he can start to connect those dots, eventually you'll get your dream house. So,
yes, I hope so. Thank you. I appreciate it, Dave.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very cool. All right. So let's follow Ray's script here.
Yeah.
Transition. So in just a second, we're going to jump into the Brainstorm Bank. So the Brainstorm Bank, it's this place where you can go and you can add questions. You can throw questions at whoever is leading Daily Drop-In on any given day. It can be questions about who they are as people. It can be questions professionally. It can be anything that you're wrestling with. So as you're going back to school, educator friends out there, if you are struggling with something, maybe you got a question about instructional design or a relationship that you're trying to build with a staff member or a student or a peer, whatever questions you might have, you can drop those in the Brainstorm Bank. But Katie, after we come back for the next 15-second little commercial music thing, I've got some brainstorm bank questions
Ooh.
for you. Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Boom, 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 boom. It's like just get it up and ready to roll. Okay.
Right.
It almost feels like we're going to be on the spot, like 20 questions as fast as you can with that music. So
Yeah.
I don't have 20 questions for you, but I do have a few.
Okay.
And the questions are really around this idea of relationships and getting to know people. There are people out there, Katie, that are super intrigued by the people that are on the screen. Nobody cares about me, but they care about so many others. And there are people out there that want to know, how did you get involved in the Teach Better team? And people, if you're watching right now and you have additional questions for Katie, throw them on here. I'm happy to grill her, or I'll just make some stuff up. But so Katie, how did you get involved in the team?
I actually worked with Ray, and she was down the hall, and I heard about all the amazing things that the team was doing. And slowly but surely, I just kind of started, getting connected and, viewing some of the stuff online. And then it was kind of just, there was a spot that they needed filled. And that was like my personality, doing the online stuff and kind of coordinating some of the events. And so, I kind of pursued it because it seemed like something I'd be interested in. And I mean, you guys seem like kind of decently cool people. So.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because that's actually like the second question, not necessarily are they really decently cool people, but what are the people actually like? Like, give us the dirt, Katie Miglin. Let's just go through a few people. Ray Hewitt, you said you knew her. You've known her probably longer than any of us have known her. And I mean, you get to see her almost all the time here, especially when she lived in your town before she moved far, far, far away from you. Ray Hewitt, is she really as nice as people think?
Yeah. Yeah. I hate to break it to you.
That's not the right answer, Katie.
Here's the thing about Ray that people probably see, but she's genuinely as helpful in person as she is on the camera and on all the things Teach Better. There were many times that, she had a student teacher last year, and she's probably going to be super mad I'm telling you this, but she had a student teacher last year. Typically in student teaching, you take over the classroom and the cooperating teacher steps out of the classroom. So she would be sitting outside and out of her room, and we have pods. So there was like a common space. And multiple times last year, I would see another educator talking to her, whether it was about the grid method, whether it was about some sort of classroom management or leadership. She was constantly helping other educators, even though her classroom was being ran by a student teacher. And she could have used that time to do all kinds of other things. She was filling her time with helping others. And I feel like she's just such a genuine person. Like, she legit wants to help other people.
Wow, that's cool. So it's not just a show. Okay.
I know. Isn't it kind of disappointing that it's not just
It is. Well, let's go to the other end of the extreme then. Let's go to Jeff Gargas. Jeff Gargas, he, in my estimation, he is a yes man. He says yes to any idea, and he's got 1,000 ideas that he wants other people to say yes to. Speaking of dreamers, he truly is a dreamer. Yes. Lots of big picture thinking, which is incredible. Give us your impression of Jeff Gargas.
Ooh, I feel like that's accurate. I mean,
is he a nice guy too?
Yeah, like he is, but he's also just like, he makes you like want to do better, but for like a bigger cause, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like, yes, he's a yes man, but he's also just, he's so passionate that it makes you passionate. There you go. That's the best way to describe.
Well, that's a good one. That's a good one. And maybe that goes back to that original conversation we were having about dreams, is he is living his dream and he exudes this excitement.
Yes.
And he's wanting other people to have that same passion as well. That's pretty cool.
Which I think is honestly what kind of got me interested in the company, as I was like, well, everyone's super excited. Why? I was like, what's in the water?
Well, the issue is nobody on this team drinks water. That's probably part of the thing.
That's what I learned. Yes. I did learn that. Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Okay. How about Chad Ostrowski? smart guy, always on the road, doing all of the things. What's your impression on Chad Ostrowski?
So I am excited because I actually got to meet Chad in person the same day I met you for the first time in person. And he's exactly what you would expect. Like we talked running for.
Don't say that. What I would expect, really? He's exactly what you like, plural, like what other people.
Yes,
okay, fair enough.
You like
okay.
the world.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But no, we talked about running for a little bit, and then he's always so like accessible when it comes to grid method questions, because I run the grid method, but I always have 5 billion questions because I feel like I'm always doing something wrong with it. I'm like, hey, how do I fix this? He can give you the answer immediately. He's so like genuinely helpful and so easy to talk to. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, you're exactly in person. We stood next to each other drinking a beer, and he was hanging out, and like it was just like we were on screen.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I wasn't necessarily part of your running conversation with him in depth as much as I probably would have wanted to, but his conversation about running, he gets into the details about the types of shoes you should have. He'll talk about the GPS watch. Like, he gives you all of the tools and tricks, and kind of geek out on the running. Just like, in a way, he does the same kind of thing when he's talking instruction or pedagogy or assessment. He has all the answers, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So one of the common themes I'm hearing from you is that the people that you see on screen are the same as the people in real life, whether they're nice, genuine, smart, whatever. There's not this, I have to act one way in front of one crowd, I have to act the other way in front of. They're the same, which allows you to form these real relationships with people, because you don't have to try to figure out which person am I interacting with. Am I interacting with online person, or is this in-person person? Well,
and honestly, Dave, so middle of June, anyone that was on the team that lives in Illinois, we all got together up in the Chicago area. And I was nervous. Like, I haven't been on the team a long time. Some of the people I've only kind of met in meetings. So there's like multiple people on the screen. And so, I went to this restaurant and I was meeting all these people, and I was like, what if all of these people are not at all what I thought? And I legit came home, and my husband was like, you're like giddy. I was like, I know, they were so fun. Like, you would have thought that we all knew each other for forever. And hopefully I'm like everyone else agreed, and it's not like I'm just like this nerd, but like Megan and Andrea and Caitlin and Carrie and all these people were there. And I was like, wow. Like, it's not often that people are so genuine in, like in their work life and in their social life. Like, it didn't feel like we were working, we were hanging out, but everyone was so genuine. It was super fun.
That's cool. And I love that perspective too, as the new person that stepped into this foreign environment.
Yeah.
The week, again, the theme is relationships. Yep. And we talked a little about relationships with adults to kids, but this week, or the first weeks of school, whenever that is for people, there are going to be some new adults entering into schools as well that are stepping in, and their only exposure with the school has either been online or maybe sitting around an interview table where everybody was prim and proper, wearing suits and clipboards and judging them. And now they're entering into this new phase of, how am I going to present myself? And who are these foreigners that I am entertaining day in and day out? And I guarantee there's that same level of anxiety of, am I going to fit in? Did I make the right choice?
Yeah.
Am I going to be happy? Are these people real people, or are they just professionals? And so today at your breakfast gathering that you get to go to in about an hour, do you know, are there going to be any new teachers or new staff members present?
Yes, we actually have about 10 new staff members.
Wow.
And I am lucky enough, I have a new co-teacher. And so I will be starting my day with a new person, and I'm super excited, but we've only emailed, back and forth, and she just kind of got this position. So I feel like there's that, I want to make sure that I understand that like you're stressed right now, or your to-do list is long. So it's definitely like, hey, I'm here if you need it, but I also want you to be able to feel like you can get your work done. But I truly believe in just being authentic from the beginning. And I, Dave, you've had I don't know if I'd say pleasure, but you've met me in person, and I'd like to think I'm like kind of the same at all times. I just honestly try to be just genuine from the beginning, because I'm not a sugarcoater. I'm not I don't know. I'm just me. And so I try, like today, I'll just be me from the beginning. And yeah. And that's, I feel like, how you kind of have to approach it, because otherwise what happens in 4 months when that person learns, the other side of you, and, you put on this act. Like, I think just being true to yourself is kind of the key to solid relationships.
Oh, I agree completely. And yeah, you are as amazing in person. Aside from hanging out and having drinks at one time where Chad was there, got to hang out with you and your amazing family. And what's so cool is, like, I never had to worry of, what am I going to talk about? Is it going to be this awkward? I mean, it was just like, we've been friends forever, and it was so easy, because there is that authenticity of, I know who you are, and I appreciate and I like who you are, and it makes it so much easier. I think you think about these new teachers, these new educators that are coming into these meetings right now too. Again, making that equation to the new students that enter a classroom during the school year, right? When everybody's already formed their cliques, there's already those friendships. There are some of those classrooms where the new student comes in and they're put on the spot and they're asked to give their biography. Tell us who you are. Where do you live? Where did you live? What's your favorite sport? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite number? What size shoes you wear? Like, all of these things. And I feel like at times that can put somebody on the spot where they're automatically being asked to be vulnerable and transparent when nobody else has had to do the same thing for them. When you are asked to be the first person to be transparent and vulnerable, it is a leap of faith and trust that can sometimes turn people off, as opposed to, let's just have some time to get to know each other, as opposed to, let me just learn about you. So with the new educators, the new teachers that are coming in, I love how you said you're trying to find that happy balance between your new co-teacher, just allowing your co-teacher to get the job done, but letting them know that you are there to support as well. That you'll probably reach out and say hey today and smile and extend a warm welcome, but won't necessarily put them on the spot with the spotlight saying, I need you to go around and tell everybody where you got your degree, what your spouse's name is. Are you married? Are you not married? What are your hopes and dreams and goals? Because that can be upsetting to some.
Well, and I think, Dave, I'm going to be honest, I struggle with this in a classroom, because you have kids who are so excited to be in a new school, or so excited to be, for me, 7th grade. And I really struggle to quickly evaluate personalities, because some kids, they never want to be called on. They never want to be put on the spot. And other kids, I worry they go home and they're like, yeah, they didn't really introduce me, or I didn't get to, the teacher didn't acknowledge I'm new. And so I always struggle in middle school to find that balance, because you have literally both ends of the spectrum and everybody in between as far as their comfort level. And so, that's something that I try really hard those first few days to kind of gauge, okay, that kid seems a little bit quieter. Maybe I'll quietly get to know them, versus this kid clearly wants a lot of attention. Let's, maybe we can give them an appropriate space. And so I think you have to take some time at the beginning, whether it's the adults in the building or the kids, to really get to know them so that their comfort level.
I think that's a spot on analysis. So when I grew up, I was a military brat. I went to 16 different schools just in my K-12 experience. I was always the new kid.
Yeah.
So my lens is probably even different than my sister's, who's only 11 months older. So she had the same experience. But for me, I never wanted that spotlight of attention where everybody knew that I was the new kid. But I would have loved if a teacher just sat down next to me and said, hey, I'm so glad you're here, just to be noticed by somebody and to feel safe that the teacher acknowledged me without making me stand up on my desk and Dead Poet Society moment. And everybody looks, and I didn't want that. Other people might want that. Other people might want that attention of, oh, the new kid, put him on a pedestal type thing. But for me, I just wanted to be noticed. I just wanted somebody to say, hey, I see you. I know you're here, and I got you if you need me. So
and I think you have to investigate that. You have to look into who are the new students, or who are people who just transferred, or I think you as a teacher kind of have to do your research, and so that too. And I find if a couple weeks in, if I haven't really gotten to know much about a kid, I just call home, and I'm like, hey, I'm Mrs. Miglin. I'm their math teacher. I just wanting to say hi. Is there any way that I could get to know your child? Anything I need to know? And they're a great avenue as well. So
that's cool. One of the things that I used to advocate for when I was a building principal is, we've heard the statement before. Administrators have said, teachers have said, I wish every kid had an IEP, but the practice of that is extremely difficult to truly give every kid an IEP. But what I advocated for teachers was to have a spreadsheet with every kid's name listed on it. and to send home a form or a letter or something to parents just saying, what are your kids' strengths? What are their passions? What are their dreams? And then just fill in that form. You could do it with a Google form, whatever the case may be, and just have that information so that you can do something with it later on. Learn something about your kids that you can actually use in conversation, that you can actually use at some point throughout the year. So when you're doing those get to know you activities this year, which hopefully we're all doing in some capacity, do a get to know you activity that you can actually do something with, not so it's just another form or another piece of paper that you're going to collect and grade. So very cool.
And Dave, I kind of want to give a shout out to my daughter's first grade teacher. My husband and I literally last night, we were going through all the, the emails and forms, and her form was it was labeled as how is your child getting home? So to me, I thought, okay, we'll put our contact information in, what bus number. And it wasn't, it was, what do they like to do outside of school? What is a goal that you have for them this year? What is, where's a strength of theirs? What subjects do they like? What makes them excited? Like, it was so much more than what's their favorite color or what's their favorite animal. Because honestly, as a first grader, that's what I expected. I expected it would be very surface level. Sure. But I was really kind of impressed, and it kind of inspired me because I was like, oh, okay, I need to, amp mine up a little bit. One of the things another educator shared is asking your students, what is something that adults assume about you?
Ooh. Ooh, that's good. Okay.
And I think I'm going to pull that in this year, because think of how you would have answered that as a kid.
Man, think about how I would answer that right now as an adult even.
Right. I mean, I feel like it would kind of open up this door of really getting to know another person.
Yeah, and then even the conversation of why do you think they have that assumption? What do you want me to agree with that assumption? Oh man, that's good. That is good. That's an amazing opportunity for conversation.
Yeah,
that's cool. So this week, people have the opportunity to get to know a few more of our Teach Better friends. Ray Hewitt is going to be back tomorrow. But so people that are listening right now, if you really want to know some more of our Teach Better friends, arm yourself with some of these questions, throw some of these questions out at the brainstorm mic, or be ready to just flood the comments, because tomorrow Ray's hanging out with Livia Chan. So if you really want to know what life is like in British Columbia, or just how to be an amazing relationship builder, Livia is the person to connect with. So
can we give a shout out to Liv? It's 4 a.m. her time. That's what time she has to get on.
But yet she's going to do it because she loves people.
Exactly.
Right?
So if you don't want to tune in simply to see her awesomeness,
right?
For sure.
And I will definitely be there watching, just to try to glean a little bit of wisdom from her.
Yes.
Then on Wednesday, Hunter Flesh is hanging out with Ray. Hunter's amazing. He's a fairly young educator. I don't know if he's going into year 2 or year 3. Got a podcast. He's absolutely incredible, inspirational guy. Super, super cool. Then on Thursday, some people know her as Megan Deegan. We now know her as Megan Hosey, is hanging out with Ray, telling us what life is like in Nashville. She's been back to work now for a week or 2 already, doing all the things. Yeah. And then Friday, we start the new Friday tradition of Brad Hughes hanging out every single Friday with Ray. So people,
it is a lineup,
right? And it's all starting with us, Katie.
Yeah, I feel like, is it going up or is it plateauing? I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I think we established the baseline that everybody else can far exceed is what's happening.
There you go.
Maybe that was Jeff and Ray's strategy. They didn't want to shine and have everybody else clamoring to. They said, let's just make it realistic for people. Let's get Katie and Dave to hang out, and people will know they can succeed at this too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, got it.
Wow, that's an exciting lineup. I'm for sure going to have my coffee ready. I'll put my earbuds in. I don't know that my family's ready to hear the Daily Drop-In every day, but maybe next week.
That's totally me. I walk around with my earbuds in, phone in my pocket, just listening as I go. Because that's the beautiful thing about Daily Drop-In is you can join and interact live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all those places, or listen to a podcast, or just listen to the audio as well. It's a pretty cool medium that the Teach Better team has established.
Yeah,
So
I definitely like that, we have the podcast, and hello to all of our podcast listeners, but I really like that that's an option for people who have things going. This could be a tough time of day for some people, so I like that we have that as a kind of a backup.
yeah, it maybe not even a backup. Maybe it's the primary for some people as well.
Yeah.
Because for me, that truly has become my default.
Yeah.
I I was listening to DDI last week while I was going for a run, and I was like a day behind listening to
Mm,
some of them just because it
yeah,
was the podcast version, and it still worked for me. So that was cool.
exactly.
All right. So one of the last things that we do on Daily Drop-ins every single day is we try to inspire people with a challenge. We
Okay.
want we want people to be informed. We want people to make connections when they're here, but we also firmly and strongly believe in people becoming better every single day, being better tomorrow than you are today. And we do this oftentimes with a challenge where we say, based off of our conversation today, here's something I'm going to encourage you to try or challenge you to do tomorrow or this week.
Okay.
Now, I've got one in my back pocket, but I think that you are probably better at these relational challenges than I am, Katie. So do you mind? Do you have a challenge for our Teach Better family for this week?
Okay, so I have a challenge that I'm challenging myself. So some of you, this may not seem very challenging because this might be some things, that you already do. But I struggle at the beginning of the year to cling towards the people that I know, the people I haven't seen all summer that I'm looking forward to connecting back with. And sometimes, when we have those day-long meetings, I struggle to branch out. And so I'm challenging myself, and I challenge other people to find an adult in your building that you have very either limited relationship with or no relationship with, and just introduce yourself and kind of put it out there. Hey, I'm such and such. Is there anything I can help you with to get your year started? And maybe it's not at a meeting. Maybe you stop in someone's classroom you've never visited, but just kind of extend your relationship to another adult that maybe you don't have a relationship with. Now, if you are, I'm sure like Alex, he's got a relationship with everyone in his building. So then I think it needs to go into the classroom, whether it's a kid from another classroom, another team, but just extend your personality to someone that is outside of your bubble. That's my challenge to myself this year. So
That's good and so hard. It's
I
so
know,
hard.
I
Oh,
know,
I put that bubble in place on purpose, Katie, to
I
have to
know,
now pop that bubble and step outside of it. Oh, goodness gracious.
I
That's
know.
good. That's good. Mine's a little bit different. My
Okay.
challenge, this is my challenge for myself.
Okay.
And it's evolved just since we were talking
Okay.
because you gave me some food for thought. My challenge for myself is to get to know the people in my family in a way that I don't know them now. I get so busy with shuttling people around to soccer practice or dance practice or the bus stop or just doing all the things. I'm going to truly get to know the misunderstandings of my kids. I want my kids to be able to explain, and my wife to be able to explain, what are some of the assumptions that you think I have about you? What are some things that you think I'm getting
Ooh.
wrong about you? And to allow them to truly share it in a non-judgmental way so that I can learn who they really are. And we might just do it like just doing some simple things like 2 truths and a lie with them or something like that, or asking them, what are your dreams that you've never told me about? What are your aspirations? Or truly, what am I getting wrong? What are the things that I don't understand about what makes you tick?
I
And
love that.
I'm going to own it and try to grow into it because Lord knows I make a lot of assumptions about things that, as the Uber driver, the cab driver of the family, where I'm just shuttling people around,
Yeah.
sometimes it's just business and I just want them to get things done.
Yeah.
And or I just want them to leave me alone for a couple minutes so I can do some work, and I don't necessarily know who they are as people as much as I
Yeah.
think I should. So
Now, are you planning on doing all of this at once? Because I feel like that could be a lot to take on if I
whew.
mean, 4 kids. So
Yeah,
that could
right.
be a lot of information. Maybe kind of space it out or do some, one-on-one time.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start with the youngest. He's probably going to be the easiest one for this. And my high schooler will probably destroy me as a person if I jump there, and I won't want to continue. So I think I'll start with my youngest,
Okay.
who, we'll probably talk about dinosaurs and unicorns and things like that for a
Oh,
little bit and have a great conversation. And that way I can practice this skill set until I
there you go.
get more comfortable. And then I'll go to my high school and then my wife. And
Yeah.
hopefully I'll survive. So, yeah. So thank you
Okay.
for that inspiration.
I think that's going to be good. I think it'll
Yeah.
be, it might be a little bit of a challenge, but I think that'll be good. And
Yeah.
that's the point, right? The challenges are help us grow and become better people. So
That's it.
yeah.
And well, Katie, you help make me a better person. I don't think I've really ever told you face to face how much I appreciate you and appreciate your friendship and who you are. You truly do encourage me to always find that positive, but yet to be realistic as well. I think that you are absolutely incredible. And I know the Teach Better family feels the same way. So I'm going to encourage people to reach out to you and just fill you with those positive affirmations that I know you need this week.
Yes.
When the coffee's not doing its trick, hopefully people will send you some words that help you get through the day. So enjoy Institute Day today. Enjoy Panera breakfast.
Yeah.
Good luck on Wednesday when the kiddos come. And although that's the thing that drives what you do, it's also the exhausting part of what you do. So good luck this week. And everybody else, when you're not flooding Katie with those amazing thoughts, check out DDI for the rest of the week and all other things that Teach Better is doing. It's a busy time of the year for you. So make some time for you, make some time for those people and form those relationships.
Yes. Thank you. It's been a great hour. I can't believe
it went by quick. It went by quick. So let me send people out with the music and then you can run and go get that breakfast. All right.
All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Take care, everybody.